Welcome back everyone, I'm Danny the Dinosaur Drawer, and today I'm going to be showing you all how to draw the Thresher shark from Hungry Shark World. So yeah, here's our reference image. And yeah, today is day 18 of our dinosaur drawing marathon. So you got your paper, pencil, and eraser, and we will get started. So Thresher sharks are super cool sharks. They got really long tails, and I'll throw up a picture of a real Thresher shark so you guys can see what they look like. So yeah, it's a super cool shark. Yeah, let's put it in our outline. Okay, so the eye is going to be right about here. And yeah, it's got a really cool looking body. It looks like a torpedo almost. It's got huge eyes. A very pointy body that's rather slender. It's going to have a dorsal fin that really is really straight up and down. So it's not tilted back like some of the other sharks we've drawn. And I purposely left a lot of room here on my paper for the tail, because the tail is the main feature on this shark. So that's basically what the tail looks like. I might make it a little bit longer there. It's got relatively long pectoral fins. So we'll put those in. It's going to have a smiley face right about there. And I'm actually going to move the eye. I'm going to move the eye up a bit. So I think the eye will be right about there. That's why it's important to draw very lightly with your pencil when you're in the outline stage, when you're just like doing a rough sketch to start off with. The gills will be right about there. It's got another fin here. But yeah, I think our outline is pretty much complete. Now we can move on to the next stage. So we're going to be working from left to right. And yeah, I just want to fix that eye up a bit before we do anything else. So let's just erase the circle we put in and redraw it, but this time with care, you know. I want to draw it nice and slow so you don't make any mistakes. And right away we're going to put in the eyelid. And make the bottom line of the eyelid a little darker there. Then here we're going to have the eyeball, which really is bulging. And put in the bottom lid. And then here we're going to put in the pupil. But don't color it solidly black. We're going to have some light reflecting off of it. So pretend it's like a pizza and one pizza piece is missing. That's basically what it looks like. Now we'll put a little bit of shading to show the roundness of the eyeball. I might actually move this line a little bit, even though we put it in pretty dark. Move it up a bit so it has more of a mean look. So add some shading around the eyelid here. And some actual shading on it. Okay, so I think we can put in the nose next. So it's got a really peculiar nose. It looks like a Speedo. Or it looks like, yeah, like the Speedo insignia. So there we go. I put that in pretty dark. And then next we can put in the actual, like, snout, which is very pointy. Head curves up, and then curves down, right about there. So I'm going to draw this line nice and slow to make sure we get it correct. See, as I said earlier, it really looks like a torpedo. So here we're going to put in its crafty looking smile. It's got a really funny looking smile. Actually, all the sharks in Hungry Shark World do. So let's just erase a little bit more. There's a few lines that are bothering me right now. So its smile is going to go right up about there. It's going to go further than its eye. And it's actually not, its mouth is not opened that wide. So it's got a mouthful of teeth there that we can put in, and it's got several rows, it looks like. And like all sharks, it's going to have a lot of gum showing, so make sure to have some room reserved for the gums of the shark. Okay, so in between the teeth we can add some shading. Like so. That looks pretty good. And then yeah, we can add that midline. Continues along the shark. It separates like the blue color from the white color that's underneath it. So yeah, anything above this line is going to be a little darker. Except the white is going to be shaded in some places, since it's going to be like under the fin and stuff like that. It's got a few wrinkles here underneath the smile there. And then next I'm going to put in the far pectoral fin, which is quite long. It's actually very long. We're going to have to lengthen this one up a bit. So yeah, the inside of the pectoral fin is actually going to be shaded in, because it's actually blue, like dark blue, on both sides of the pectoral fin, which is kind of unusual for sharks. So make sure that's nice and shaded in. And then this pectoral fin is going to be even longer than we originally drew in the outline. So bring it out a little further. Like so, not too much longer. I might erase it, actually make it a little bit shorter. But yeah, because the perspective is going to be a little bit longer, since that one's behind it, you know. So we're going to make a little curved line there. Anything below that curved line is going to be dark blue, and above that is going to be white. So let's shade this in. I'll use like a cross hatching method, since we have such a fine, since I'm using such a fine mechanical pencil. So try to leave the tips a little bit white, because that's what it looks like in the reference image. Okay, so next we can add some more of the belly. Doesn't really have much of a stomach though. It's quite a thin shark. So that's pretty good. Let's add some bubbles right away coming up from the mouth here. Like so. Then yeah, let's add in the 4 gills, which are pretty close to the smile. So there we go, we have 4 gills. Then we can continue this midline, right about there. Now I'm going to put in the bottom fin. Like so. This one's also dark blue, plus it's like underneath the shark, so it's going to be quite dark. So it's looking pretty good. Now we can move on to the dorsal fin, which I'm actually going to move back a little bit, because it does sit like right about here, so closer to this fin. So we'll continue this back line a little further till right about there, and then that's when the dorsal fin will pop up. It's quite tall. It has like a little barb there that sticks back. So guys, keep in mind this is not at all accurate. A real thresher shark does not look like this. But yeah, the sharks from the game are pretty crazy looking, so. So there's like a little bit of a white spot in the middle of the dorsal fin, which is like a cool effect there. But other than that, the whole thing is pretty dark. This is looking good. Now we can move on to the best part of the Thresher shark, which is the tail. And let me just check my camera to see. Let me just move it over a bit. Because when I was drawing Atomic Shark, my camera cut off the part of me drawing the tail, which was very unfortunate. So I'll try and not make that same mistake today. So the bottom portion has like a little part that sticks out there, almost like a barb. And then here's the main hook. Right about there. And the top portion actually curves over a bit, like so, which I think is pretty cool. And yeah, we have a lot of erasing to do, so let's go ahead and do that. So now that we've erased and cleaned up a bit, we can start adding some more of the lines on the tail. So guys, remember to take it slow when you're doing these more complicated lines. You really want to take your time to make sure they're perfect. Okay, so now let's continue the midline, because that actually is kind of important in this drawing. And yeah, I think the tail is pretty much completed. We are going to shade in the bottom portion of these ridges. We'll shade those in. Like so. And then yeah, now we can take our pencils and actually just add more color to any part that's above this midline. So we'll start with the snout and then move our way backwards. Let me just readjust my camera a bit there. So it's not like the whole thing is just like completely darkened, because there are a lot of spots that are light. But yeah, in general, it's got a little bit more color than the bottom. So I used my smudging tool the other day when we did Atomic Shark, I think, or was it maybe Bull Shark? But I actually didn't like how it turned out that much, so today I'm going to stick to my mechanical pencil and try and work around these bubbles. Yeah, the smudging tool works for a lot of drawings, but sometimes I just don't like the effect it leaves. Sometimes I like the graininess of the pencil lines better. So for a few places you can cross hatch. It's not completely necessary, but I'm going to do a little bit of that here on the end of the tail. Mainly to give it a little bit more of like a curvy shape, you know. Then as far as the body, yeah, I might do a little bit more to add another layer of shading. And if you do want to use your shading tool, that's fine with me. I might even touch it up a bit with my shading tool, even though I just talked about how I don't like the effect it leaves. But for certain places, it's nice. And it really does work for when you're drawing sharks. You just have to be careful with it. What I don't like is like when you start the line off, it makes that like dark point there before you like begin the stroke, and that kind of annoys me. So I'm going to try to avoid doing that right now. But yeah, our smudging is pretty much done. I'm not going to do too much. I don't want to ruin our beautiful pencil lines. And speaking of pencil lines, let's add a little bit to the bottom tip of the tail. Like so. And yeah, now I think we can sign our drawings. Sign mine next to the Thresher shark tail. Put in the date so you remember when you did this drawing. So if you guys have enjoyed this video, please leave it a like, comment below what you think I should draw next, and subscribe if you're new to the channel. And yeah, go check out my vlog channel, which is just starting up, and I'd really appreciate that. So yeah, I'll see you guys tomorrow.